So the All-Star game, right? We've come up with different things like how do we change the All-Star game? What do we do to modify the All-Star game? And so me and this lovely guy over here, oh shit, we're gonna get to him in a little while. We've come up with an idea on how to modify the All-Star game, or you know what? This might shock you, but get rid of the thing altogether.
I just want to make it very clear. We're about to get into some good stuff, obviously, regarding the All-Star game.
Talk about it.
Just know that we're not fully on board with the same stuff, because I definitely think that they do have to add some things to it. I think for way too long now, it's been pretty much the same damn thing now, right? And I think this year will be what, the 94th? So they've been doing this for 94 years now, which is great and all. But when you think of All-Star games and All-Star weekends, the only thing that most Americans are probably thinking of is the NBA All-Star weekend. And clearly on 27 Outs, we don't talk basketball. So the fact that we're talking about the Major League Baseball All-Star game, it's not in a good way, but in a bad way, because we think that there's more that they can do. I mean, we see it overseas. We see it in other sports. So what's wrong with baseball here in the States?
Baseball in the States feels very regimented because we've been doing things a certain way for 94 years, right? Now, of lately, you've added the home run derby, which came to be in the 60s, the 50s, and 60s. So that's been a part of the All-Star game festivities. And now they have the draft as part of All-Star week that they call it, which is cool.
And then the only other things are the most obvious one being the All-Star game, right? And then the celebrity softball game that, I'm going to be honest with you, bro, I never catch it live. I always catch it after the fact. So I don't know what else it is that they have in mind. Clearly, it's nothing else. But what they're doing is simply not enough. For me, to be excited about the weekend, it's not enough. I'm sorry.
My issue, straightforward, is who cares about the All-Star game? And you're talking to two avid baseball fans who love the game. But I gotta tell you, the All-Star game has become a snooze fest. Who gives a fuck? You got players that are high prominent players. Nah, my shoulder's hurting. No, this is hurt. I don't want to go.
Right.
Like, you got guys left and right. Nah, I've been to like 6 of these bitches. I'm out.
And the thing that I also hate too is you have guys who make the team, right? And certain guys, they may not pitch on a certain day so that they are at least able to pitch in the All-Star game. And then you have guys who just stick to their regular the game plan throughout, or like you said, exactly. So now we can't see you pitch even though you were named. Like, it's just unfortunate, you know.
But this is why the game is fucking stupid, because I don't want my All-Star caliber pitcher to break routine to pitch in an exhibition game. The shit is dumb. That American League, National League shit, that shit is done.
The amount of times that an American League team plays a team in the National League, it's beyond, like, it's never been like this before.
It's not like they're two separate leagues, because remember when we were coming up, you had the National League umpire. They were two separate leagues. You had American National League umpires. You had different rules for each league. Like the American League had the DH, the National League let the pitcher hit.
Right.
The National League was more of a thinking game where you had to know, yo, when do I get this pitcher out? What if he's throwing a no-hitter and he's pitching his balls off? Do I pull him? Do I let him have the next at bat? What do I do strategically to affect the game? Now that both leagues have the designated hitter, we should not have National League, American League, which kind of negates the reason for an American League, National League All-Star game.
That's a good point. I think now that they didn't have a DH in the National League for so many years and now suddenly having it, I think at some point we should look at both leagues as one, because they go by the same exact rules.
Yeah, they go by the same exact rules, which is why if we're gonna do an All-Star game, I got two things you can do. One I don't really like, but I'll throw it out there for, argument's sake. How about you do USA versus the world? You do North America, where you have America and Canada teaming up together, North America versus everybody else. Give it like a WBC,
I like that.
A WBC feel. I'm good with that. If you want to
like
do that, I'm cool. And the winner, that team's charity wins a certain amount of money.
Right.
Which is cool. right? The other idea, because you said you like that, so we're gonna let you touch on that in a second.
Of
the
course.
other idea I had, which I'm personally a fan of, take the top 25 prospects, take the top 30 prospects, one in each organization. Whoever your top prospect is, they're representing your franchise, and they play big leaguers in a game, 9 innings exhibition game, where you get to see the stars of tomorrow versus players that are playing in the big leagues now. You make it a fun exhibition.
Yeah, like maybe something called like a Rising Stars game or something like that, you know?
Now versus the future or some shit like that.
Right. Like I know they have the Arizona Fall League and all that stuff at the end of the year, but I think to really emphasize and highlight what a lot of guys are doing in AA and AAA, really put two teams of what's the best in AA, what's the best in AAA, and really just putting that on the map, not only during a random point during the year, but specifically during MLB All-Star Weekend is huge.
Where you're playing against big leaguers. That's why I would get rid of the Futures game, because to me the Futures game is mind-numbingly. That's another mind-numbing experience. They've been playing against minor leaguers all year.
Right.
Isn't the whole point to showcase the young talent of the game? So this is why this is a bit of a radical idea. But if you want to get me to watch, I want to see some of these young minor league pitchers that we hear about. Imagine Paul Skeens, bro, pitching in the minor leagues last year at the All-Star game facing Jose Altuve, where you're like, all right, Altuve likes the fastball. You're not going to like this fastball. These minor leaguers, they get to play in a professional stadium on the field with big leaguers, and you get to know a little bit about them. They're mic'd up, you know, their personality. Like, you get to see, because like you said, a lot of these players, they're not going to get seen because a lot of people don't watch minor league games.
And I think it would be perfect for minor leaguers because, one, as you mentioned, Stefan, a lot of people just aren't watching their ball games, right?
Right, yeah.
Two, these guys want people to know who they are for obvious reasons. They're looking to make it to the big league level. They're looking to sign all these endorsement deals. So, I mean, what stage is bigger other than, you know, the World Series, which is its own thing. But I think if Major League Baseball wants to make this time of the year a big deal, how the NBA has been able to get theirs to, you got to be able to incorporate like these different ideas.
Also, too, yo, I got another one for you that I think is kind of interesting. How about we have like a unisex game where you have men and women on the field? Yo, there's some women softball players that can get it in. Like, I would love to see like Jenny Finch. Remember the chick Jenny Finch?
Yes, I remember
that was out here striking out Albert Pujols and making grown men look crazy. I want to see some of these chicks that play softball versus some of these dudes that are in the big leagues. Yo, how far can you hit this ball? How far can you throw this ball? Like, stuff like that, where you incentivize, you know, young women to say, yo, if she's at this stage, I could do it too.
And also, one thing that we haven't gotten into yet, some sort of like a skills challenge, right? So
that too.
Let's say you line up like a couple of outfielders, you have them like, you put a bunch of targets, perhaps maybe around the field, and you, I guess, time them and see like, yo, who's the quickest to knock down all of their targets? Obviously, the targets being what you need to hit with the ball, but you have to be able to get all of them down, right? Yeah. Or what we've seen overseas, for example, and I forget what country this is, Stefan. If you remember, Japan. Right, thank you. They have like this bunning like activity that they do where you got to be able to lay down the ball properly a certain way. I don't know, man. There's like 4 circles, and if the ball hits the last circle, you get a certain amount of points. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Where it's like we have to start
like get like some of the best contact hitters in the game, whether they're an all-star or not is, you know, should be the least of our worries, but get a Luis Ariz in there, right? Get a Stephen Kwan in there. Like, get all these guys who know how to put the ball in play well. Put some targets on the field. Let's see if they can get the bat on the ball to the target.
Yeah. Honestly, the other thing that I was thinking about too, the idea of having a relay challenge where you take the ball from the outfield, you throw it to a cutoff man, and then the cutoff man has to hit the target. There's no catcher, but I want you to hit the target. Like, So one could be standing right there. You got to hit the second baseman in a certain amount of time, or the shortstop, or whoever's out there.
Right.
Then the shortstop has to hit the middle target, which is the plate. And if you hit it in a certain amount of time, you win the challenge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
I think it could be done. I mean, obviously bobaseball and basketball are two very different sports, but the reason why I mentioned basketball, look at their skills challenge, right? You got these guys running up and down the court, making this pass, forcing them to make this shot, you know, in order to win that activity itself.
I would
Major
say
League Baseball could create their own version on the diamond.
I would say All-Star Saturday Night is the bigger version of the events than the All-Star Game. Imagine you turning your skills challenge into must-see TV, where it's not just a home run derby. How about we have a rounding the bases drill? How fast can you round the bases or go first to third?
That would be good. Like getting some of the fastest guys in the league to show up.
I would like to see Ellie De La Cruz, J-Rod, speedsters in the game where you're like, hold up, dude. You go first to third and how many? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how you start to create fans.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not just how far can you hit a baseball, but all the other things that you can do. How well do you run the bases? How well do you throw the targets? How accurate are you when it comes to this? I would love to see Ellie De La Cruz in one of those throwing contests.
Mm-hmm.
See how fat, or you know how we have radar guns on pitches?
Right.
We should have radar guns on like shortstops. Who got the fastest arm in the game? Who can, you know what I mean? Who can turn a double play faster? You know what I mean? How many double plays can you turn in a minute?
By the way, Major League Baseball, if you're watching this, just do what you got to do, right? And take the ideas, because you guys clearly are not thinking of them yourself. Pay
it up though. These ain't free, dog.
Bro,
I do want to go back to something which I find interesting that I want to get your thoughts on, which we touched on briefly, but I want to talk to you about it even more in depth. North America versus the world.
See, I like that. And I know earlier you mentioned it being, you know, a little similar to like the WBC. I don't know, man. You're definitely going to see two different vibes on the baseball field. You're going to see this crazy party, enjoy every single second, literally.
Right.
And you're going to see this other side where there are enjoyable moments, but not everything is a big deal to them.
Which is why I like the idea, but I kind of like it where I kind of like the prospect idea more, because you don't want to get shown up by a by a kid that's in AAA. Oh, hell no. Because I think no matter what happens, if you're on the field with big leaguers are going to coast, because this is supposed to be their week off. They don't really want to be out there anyway. They're just out there chilling. And I know what you might say, well, what happens if you put the big leaguers and the minor leaguers together? Don't you risk injury? Because they're going to be playing hard and they're going to be throwing a little harder and they're going to be... But I'm like, then why are we going to have the All-Star game? Then why are we even having this event? If the goal is to get the All-Star game to become something that baseball fans can enjoy, and we can look at it with pride and go, you know what, that was a fun All-Star game. I had fun with that. Now I get to see the stars of tomorrow versus the big dudes of today and see who stacks up with who. Some of these kids that are down there in AAA, they can play. The Acuna kid with the Mets, you got another kid, Dylan Crowes in DC. You got some kids at the minor league level that you're like, oh no, these kids can play and these pitchers can pitch. And it's like, I'd love to see what will happen if we get a fair shot to see what some of these young kids can do. And also, I think you get some of the big leaguers to now respect the game, where it's like, no, you ain't coming in here in a big league building and making us look stupid. Oh, hell no. Right. You know what I'm saying? I think that's why I would like the idea. The other thing I proposed, which I think is interesting too, is, if it's a 10-run game after the 6th inning, just mercy rule it. Let's go home.
That's true.
We don't need to be out here. We ain't playing for nothing. Let's go home. If I'm down 10 runs in the 6th inning, I'm out of here, dog.
Right. Which you don't usually see in an All-Star game, but I think because you don't see it often is why I think it should be thrown in there, right?
Instituted just for a fun wrinkle.
Right. It's a damn shame that All-Star games in baseball are not ending like 15-12, 17 to... You understand what I'm saying?
Remember those days, bro?
Dude, I think as fans, we deserve to see the American League and the National League throw blows offensively.
Just
now,
get
I get
busy,
it,
bro.
I get it. Pitching is a part of the game, and it's a beautiful part of the game, right? So when you see the best in the American League and the best in the National League just going at it on the mound, if you're not a genuine baseball fan, you're not going to enjoy, right? Like if you're just like somebody randomly who found out that the MLB All-Star game is on, you're not going to enjoy that kind of matchup. But if you tune in and it's like the fourth inning, scores already like 8-6.
It's like 8-6.
Yeah, it's like, wait, hold on. Like, how many times these guys are gonna score? You know, like, and how much is left?
You know what I'm saying? Baseball has to get back to catering towards the offense. I know pitching is crazy.
I think seeing the ball leave the ballpark is their bread and butter. I think it is.
But you're not getting enough juice that is worth the squeeze. You understand what I'm saying? I like to see more triples. I like to see more squeeze plays. That's how you make the game more fun, is the action that's on the field. I want to see a base stealing challenge. I want to see all these different things being brought to the forefront, because
especially now with speed being incorporated in the game again. Yes. Because for some time, you know, a lot of teams weren't too worried about getting an extra bag, stealing bases, things along those lines. But I think now we saw what Acuna did. We're seeing what Ellie De La Cruz is doing this year.
This kid's gonna steal 90 bases, bro.
That's entering like Ricky Henderson
level.
Yeah, it is. It is. Even though Ricky Henderson was touching triple digits, I believe he's done it before.
No, but this kid is that fast, bro.
Right. I get your point. It's been a while since we've seen something like that.
And the thing is, that pickoff rule kind of helps him, because it's like, oh wait, you only get 2 pickoff, though. I'm out of here, dog.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going after that third.
The crazy thing is, not only has he been taking second easily this year, but he's also stealing third. Yeah. So you mess around, allow a guy like a Ellie De La Cruz get on base during the All-Star game.
The other thing that I had was, if a game's close and you don't want to burn no pitches and you just want to see offense, home run derby style. Get one of these batting practice coaches out here. Swing off. Whoever hits.
Love that idea.
You get 3. You got 5 swings. Right. Each side gets 5 swings. Out of those 5 swings, whoever hits the most home runs wins the game.
They gotta make it happen somehow, some way. Hopefully, it doesn't take as long as we probably think it's going to take, unfortunately. But
the All-Star game has to get younger for the betterment of the overall growth of the game.
We can dream. Here on 27 Outs, we like to dream the unthinkable.
Before we head out, man, I just want to set you up, and I wanted to let you know that it's great doing this again, man, because those one-man shows alone in the motherfucker, and I was like, man,
I was watching, bro. I was watching.
I don't know how many of these I got left, but it was fun, and it's great having you back, man. Seriously, it wasn't the same without you, so it's great to have you back.
Right, I feel you now, and I appreciate it, bro. First of all, but before I get into all of this greatness, I should say, and I'm gonna make it brief because I'm gonna say more at a later point, but I want to say thank you to you, Stefan, of course, and also Rick, who does a lot of work behind the scenes. I don't want to sit here and make it seem like Rick is a guy who doesn't do much for this show, because he does a whole lot, right? And Rick, shout out to you as well. But I know the past 2 months weren't easy for you, Stefan, like you said. I'm sure it wasn't easy for Rick as well. Nor was it easy for myself, right? But the one thing that I can say, and this is strictly a fact, it's nothing more, it's nothing less, but this show brings me nothing but joy. You know, it's a time for me to be able to focus on this and only this, right? Especially when it comes to the sport that you and I love the most, Stefan, which is baseball, of course. But of course, shout out to all of you guys. You know, about 2 months ago was the last time you guys had seen me on any form of content here on the channel for quite some time. And you know, that's now in the rear end. It's in the past, right? So I'm back. We're putting our foot on the gas pedal, you know, as the big three that we are, myself included, along with Stefan and Rick. And of course, shout out to all of you guys for still rocking with Stefan when he was doing the solo shows. Rick, you also came in for one of those shows, so shout out to you for doing that as well. But a huge thank you to everyone who has been rocking with us, whether it be from the beginning or if you joined, midway through these last few months, because it's been some time now since we started the show, right? But this is only the beginning, if it is the beginning at all, because we have a lot more in store. So it just feels great to be back, So shout out to you guys who stuck around and watched the ending of this video. But yeah, man, it's great. It's great.
And with that, I can't say anything else. We ain't got to go home. Well, we got to get the hell up out of here.